Hello, this is Jim Skelly, and this is week number 4 in the spring semester 2010 of the Global Conversation. Again, we have a great deal to do this week. Some of it, I must say, this is one of the most compelling parts of the course, in my opinion, and I'm going to tell you why today. Among the videos that we have for you to take a look at, one is a series of clips from a documentary that ABC News in America did. It was called Earth 2100. And it's a warning about what might happen unless we take action about climate change and other sorts of things. But what I'm struck by is that despite the enormous amount of effort that went into the creation of Earth 2100, almost no one seems to know about it. If you ask American students or others about it, no, I didn't see that one. I wonder why. But take a look at it. Some of it is quite interesting. We might try to get the entire video or get ABC to send us something more on it. You can go to the ABC website. You'll find some interesting information as well that's relevant to the course. The most important lecture, and one that will help provide you with, I think, a bit of a shortcut with regard to readings as well, is the video lecture with Jared Diamond from the University of California Television. Diamond is an anthropologist. He is, we have his text, of course, Collapse, for the course. It's one of the principal texts for the course. And Diamond, in this lecture, in about an hour's time, synopsizes the book and will talk to you especially about Easter Island. I really can't urge you enough to watch this. The other video that's there is from John Holdren. He is President Obama's science advisor, and he doesn't use the term climate change. He uses the term climate disruption. I knew John Holdren 20 years ago when I was the Associate Director of the Institute on Global Conflict and Cooperation at the University of California. And Holdren was then at the University of California, Berkeley, and was on our board of directors. And I must say, this is a very, very smart guy. I think you'll find his talk very, very interesting and compelling. I wouldn't miss this either. Now, one of the things that I think people find most shocking, and again, this is this week, there's a 3-part series that the Canadians, God bless the Canadians, that the Canadians did on Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and the lead person is, again, someone I met many years ago, Gwynne Dyer, a very well-known journalist who's been studying war and writing about war for many, many years. Dyer does a 3-part series on Canadian Broadcasting, on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's program Ideas. And what he does in this is to look at the coming, what he calls, climate wars. Now, I've only put up here part 1, but you might want to listen to other parts of it as well. I have to tell you, I find some of it really, really compelling. I'm going to play you a short excerpt from part 2, just a couple of minutes here. Just listen to this for a second.
I'm Gwynne Dyer. There's a new phrase we're going to have to learn: climate refugees. I saw my first ones last year. One of my sons had come over to London with his family for Christmas, and afterwards we all went south for a little sun to Tenerife in the Canary Islands. And we did have a nice time. Warm weather, a spectacular volcano, surprisingly good diving. But down south on the tourist beaches, 3 times during our 10 days there, boats full of Africans sailed or drifted onto the shore right among the sunbathers. In one of the boats, everybody was dead. The other 2 were a mixture of the living and the dead. Trying to cross several hundred kilometers of open ocean from West Africa to the Canaries in small boats that are packed to the gunwales with people is a dangerous business. But the would-be immigrants to the European Union keep coming. 40,000 made it alive last year, and God knows how many died at sea. There's a similar migration going on across the Mediterranean from North Africa to southern Italy, with a similar death toll. There's a huge flow of people out of Bangladesh into India, and many of them are definitely climate refugees. The land they used to farm down south on the coast has been washed away by rising sea level and storm surges. There's the regular flow of Mexicans and Central Americans across the U.S. border in search of work. Since these are all people moving from relatively poor countries to richer ones, they're all classed as economic refugees. But already a lot of them are really climate refugees, the advance guard of a massive human migration that is going to change the face of the planet.
As I suggested, it's not going to be an easy time. There's absolutely no question in my mind, having studied this for a while, that you're going to find this kind of migration. There's various stories, if you study it. Thousands of people have already died at sea trying to get just to Spain alone. So really pay attention to this. You may want to listen to all of Gwynne Dyer's podcasts. But at least listen to the very first one. You'll see further on some recommended readings that I've put in. One is A Climate of Change, the links between climate change, peace, and war. That's very, very useful, I think. And the other one is the Pentagon's own climate change report. I think you may find that interesting as well. And in addition, finally, the very provocative article by the biologist E.O. Wilson, Is Humanity Suicidal? He doesn't think so, but you should read this article. Also, take a look at the real-time carbon emissions interactive that we've also posted for this week. Let me hear from you. I posted the 20 questions and their answers. They're the ones that I've researched. You've done a very good job, most of you, I must say. And I look forward to your comments about this week's work. Thanks.